Hey, welcome to video 10. So last time we were talking about society, what is a society? And we talked about the fact that it's a machine that takes in people as a raw material and turns them into thoughts and behaviors in order to securely and efficiently meet our needs. And that makes it sound like everything's going to work out. But as you can see from the question today, things don't work out. You know how many homeless people we have in America? Richest country in the world right now. I don't know why you would know. I didn't know until I looked it up. 500,000 people. 500,000 people who don't have a place to live, which makes it sound like we're not really meeting our needs. It sounds like this society, this machine, is messed up. The reality is that this homelessness, what we can think of it as, is a pattern. Remember, we talked about back in like the second lecture, we talked about the fact that that when we do sociology, we use the sociological imagination to look for patterns. One person being homeless could be for any reason. It could be mental illness. It could be they ran away from home. It could be that they're an artist who's trying to make it in the music industry and doesn't want to work, and so they're living without a home for right now. But the fact that we have over and over and over again all these homelessness events, 500,000 people, turns it into a pattern, which means, according to what we've talked about, there must be something in this machine that is producing that. There must be something about the way our society is set up. So we could do this if you're interested, and I'm not going to try to turn you into a sociologist, although I will say, because society is not looking out for your happiness, you've got to figure out what is going to be a job that would be both relatively decent paying, but also interesting. And getting to answer questions like, why do we have homelessness, while not the most cheerful thing, is a super useful, important thing. I mean, you work this out in a way that it ends up creating a change. You're making people's lives better. So just sort of file in the back of your head if you're not quite sure what to do. Sociology is a place where you can make a decent living. You're not going to get rich. And, have interesting problems to think about and hopefully try to solve. So let's think about this. Somehow the thoughts and behaviors that we have over on this side have produced a pattern. And that pattern that they have produced is homelessness. So what is it in our society that is producing that? Well, it's some sort of thought and behavior. And this is part of the sociological imagination, is brainstorming these things. But for us, let's begin by putting in some things and this is not going to be like on the test what causes homelessness, but plausible things that might work. First of all, in society, we have a particular economy based on competition. Anytime you have a competition, there are going to be winners and losers. Some people are going to lose. We're going to have inequality, and we've seen that in other lectures that we've had. Another possibility is that we have a belief in our society, a belief that individuals are responsible for their fates. We tend to think that if somebody gets rich, it's because they worked hard or they had a lot of talent. It's the individual that rises. And the other side of that coin is, if somebody fails, it's probably because they didn't work that hard. You as an individual, you in your mind might not believe that, but we have a lot of evidence to suggest that our society in general believes that you are responsible for where you end up. Now let's think about those two elements of a society. If you have an economy based on competition, so you know you're going to have some winners and some losers, and then you have a belief that individuals are responsible for their fates, if I am a person who gets inserted into the society, it makes sense that I'm going to look at somebody who is homeless and say, well, They probably didn't do what they needed to do. And also, my behavior is likely to not be quite as charitable if I had a belief, a different belief, like we're all in this together and we should be cooperating more than competing. If you set up a society with these couple of elements, it kind of makes sense that you're going to end up with thoughts and behaviors that produce the pattern of homelessness. In other words, why do we have homelessness is, in part, the short answer is because our society produces it. It's not an accident. If you take the 300 million Americans and move them out and put 300 million different Americans, different people into a society that has this, you're going to see the exact same pattern. The society produces, it takes people in and produces the thoughts and behaviors that lead to homelessness. Okay. The sort of more general answer that I want to give to this, why do we have homelessness, is just the insight that when we're talking about this machine, we're talking about this part of the drawing, the middle part. It's important for us to just understand that machines don't always work well. My car right now pulls consistently to the right when I'm on the highway. It just has this annoying veer that I have to constantly be compensating for. That's not the design. That's not what the way the car is supposed to work. The car is designed to be a machine that transports me where I want to go, not where I want to go and slightly to the right. That's what it does because my car doesn't always work well. The same thing can be said for society. Right now, there are elements in my car that I really don't know about that are producing that. And if I don't want that pattern to be produced, I've got to change my car. It doesn't work well right now. If we don't like homelessness, homelessness is produced by a machine that's not working very well. If we don't like it, we've got to look at how the machine is set up and think about making changes that will make the machine work better and will allow us to change that pattern. All right, that is it for the middle third of the machine. Next time, we're going to focus on issues with the raw material. I'll see you then.